Progressives Congress State Assembly primary election in Lagos has been widely adjudged as one of the toughest in the history of the legislature in the state. We spoke with some of the members of the House who shared their experiences with us shortly after the exercise. This is Lagos Parliament. Thank you for joining us. Moshood Olariwaju Osun is one of the lawmakers in the Lagos State House of Assembly that will not be returning to the legislature. This is due to his recent victory at the All Progressives Congress APC House of Representatives primary election on the 27th of May in the state. Osun, a three-time lawmaker in the State Assembly, recalls with nostalgia his journey into the legislature more than a decade ago.
The house has been very wonderful to me. Like, you know, I've been here a few times. But you see, when the time comes, when God ordains something, and when the leaders believe it's time for you to move on. I've represented Lagos Constituency a few times in the House of Assembly, tried my best, I've given it my best shot. But the leadership of the party, the card members in my constituency, feels that time for me to move up to represent them in the Green Chamber. They feel that I've done wonderfully well for them here, and they think I can do better maybe when I go to the Green Chamber. So really, it's a decision ordained by God and jointly approved by every carry members, all the leaders of APC. And they feel that it's time for me to move on. It's time for me to go to the Green Chamber. And inshallah, after winning the general election, that wish, that prayer will be fulfilled. Everybody knows my constituency knows that I pick up my calls. I'm just a phone call away. I have two constituency offices, which is open 6 days a week. And I stay there as late as 10, 11 at times. So the accessibility, they know they can see me anytime. I don't know from my constituency. So that gives me an edge because it means that I can sit down with them, know what their pains are, know what their troubles are, know why they are happy, what makes them happy. And because I was born in that constituency, I was born in Abuja. And I still have a family house there. I have my own house in Alagomeji. My father's house is in Abuja. So really, I'm a mainlander, born and bred. Born and bred. So really, but it's been wonderful. And like I said, we'll continue to improve. We'll continue to fight for them. Their mandate is so important to me. They've given me their mandate and it's so important to me. And I'll do everything to protect that mandate.
That within the state, I think
Having served in various capacities in the legislature as the chairman of the House Committee on Public Accounts and Sport, he felt it was time to move up the ladder, this time to the federal parliament.
I've learned a lot as per everything: governance, lawmaking, dealing with people, something falling on your table by virtue of your position and making sure it doesn't spill out. Making sure that the right thing is done, making sure that you represent the interests of your constituents, making sure that you fight for your constituents, making sure that you fight for an average Lagosian, and by extension, making sure you fight for Nigerians. Because the truth of the matter is, even at times I've gone out of the country, I've seen something happen across outside the country, and I had come back into the country to fight for those things, even for those that are not even in Nigeria, but who are Nigerians. So really, it's been a wonderful experience. That's number one. Like you said, I've worked with two speakers. When I came in, it was the Right Honorable Speaker, Adeyemi Kufuriji, that was the speaker, and I worked with him for 8 years before he left. After that, the President Speaker, Right Honorable Mudashiro Ajayi Obasa, came on board. So I've worked with two speakers, and there has been no regret.
Reacting to outcome of the recent APC primary election in the state, which saw its emergence as the party's House of Representatives flag bearer in the 2023 general election, Osun described the exercise as one of the most keenly contested in the history of the state.
Well, one thing you can't take away from APC is the fact that everybody was given a level playing ground, and which was the same thing we saw at the governorship primaries. In my constituency, it was a free, fair election with everybody given the level playing ground. And if you look at the presidency, the presidential primaries too, it was the same thing. So one thing you can't take away was the fact that the party decided to make sure the right thing is done and the right thing was done. So at the end of the day, we can limit litigations, we can limit people going to courts. So that at the end of the day, the rules of the party can be followed. The rule of the country, as it's written in the Constitution, can be followed. So really, for me, I want to commend the party for a job well done. If you look at the presidential primaries, you'll be proud to be an APC member. You'll be very proud. I was at Tigu Square that Tuesday and I was happy, I was proud to be a member. And in saying that, I want to extend my congratulations message to the presidential candidate and to all aspirants too for the presidential ticket. They all did wonderfully well, and we thank God. And there was no rancor, there was no fight, there was nothing. Like our guys said, Emilio come, and our guys giving us another slang, another slur, another word, which I think is a prayer point. And now when I pray in my private home, in the four walls of my room, I tell God, Emilio come. And may Almighty Allah continue to allow good things to be our turn.
He also spoke about the wealth of experience he is bringing into the federal parliament if elected in 2023 polls.
We have an history of competence. We can go to the electorate to say, look, this is what we've done. Like I said in my constituency, I can walk into any home, any house in my constituency and show them my scorecard. Look, you come into my constituency, I walk freely on the street. If I have not done well, you know the way it is. I will not be able to walk on the street. I walk on the street, I walk into bookers, I walk into libraries, I walk into churches and mosques freely. So that means I must have done something right. That means there must be something I'm doing that they agree with. And the same applies to the state. So 2023 election, all we are going to do is to get our scorecard, take it to the electorate and say, look, this is what we've done in the last 4 years. We want you to renew that mandate. And I'm sure they will renew the mandate because we've done wonderfully well.
Another lawmaker whose landslide victory at the State Assembly primary election caught much attention is Desmond Olushola Elliott, the member representing Surulere Constituency 1. The exercise, it says, did not come without its challenges as more aspirants came out to jostle for the party's ticket.
It was a very tough primaries, very tough. It's the first of its kind, really, in our polity and in the way politics has been done in Lagos State and in Nigeria. Concerning Lagos State and primaries at the assembly level, we all know how it went. It was not easy for everybody. Personally, I would say the campaign started quite early in Surulere, just like a few other local government areas. I had about close to 13 people who were also vying for the seat, but we had an internal, should I call it, more like a mock primaries, so as to get a consensus candidate who will represent us. And to God be the glory, I happened to emerge in that little primary. So that primaries was what leaders, elders, and stakeholders of the party conducted in Surulere, so as not to have everybody come out and make it a bit rowdy at the main official primaries itself. So that was how it went, and I happened to have run unopposed again, and to God be the glory. So, but at the end of the day, it could have gone anybody's way, because we have more people who are willing to serve. We have, it's now time to, good afternoon, it's now time for us all to show our worth in terms of what have you gone to do in terms of your scorecard, in terms of representation, representing your people, and everything you do. So people are more aware today than how it was 4, 5, 6 years ago. So it means that every lawmaker sometimes you have to extend beyond just lawmaking. You have to even do more of an executive lawmaking kind of politics. That's the only way you can go by, because now it's not about standing up to say you second the motion or Mr. Speaker, I have a motion to do. It's more of your presence. So the people can't see state government, they can't see federal government. What they see or who they see are the representatives. So they want to do more of the seeing you, more of what your little stipend can do in the community. So these are things that have now come to shape or shapen the kind of politics we play today. So in other words, you say the people are wiser, and it means everybody has to sit up. You have to sit up into delivering on the dividends of democracy.
He also spoke about the responsibilities his role as a lawmaker placed on him and the impact he has made in his constituency in the past 7 years.
Coming in about 7 years ago, I came with full of expectations, and I wasn't expecting too much, but I was hoping that I took this thing one day at a time. And in that space and in that speed, I discovered that I covered a lot, quite a number within that space. First things first is making sure that you attend to the needs of the people. So we had this interview late because I had to go to Area F. I had to be in Area F. And you asked me a question. You said, what am I doing at the police station? It's part of representation. So there was, in the bid to raid, a particular hotel where vices and other things were happening, they took some constituents. And I had to go speak with the officers in charge, see the ones that are, and they've been there for like 2 days now. So I'm there to say, oh, no, officer, this is an elderly person, I can vouch for this. Okay, I don't know this one, I know this. These are parts of representation, you understand? I'm not saying that they should be released, but give them fair hearing. Let them know that there are people representing them. You see, so everything is not about money. So these are the things my constituents, so I'm going to speak for Surulere now, appreciate. They want things like that. Oh, there is no light, or maybe something has happened. You go to a co-disco, you'll be able to talk to the MD, talk to any manager, BM, whoever it is. Just make sure that you cater to the needs of your people. Okay, so the drainage is bad and all that. They screen grab and they send to me. I send to the appropriate authority. So these are in terms of representing your people.
Just like Desmond, Naheem Adams, the lawmaker representing Etiosa, Constituency 2 in the State Assembly, could not contain his joy as he recalls what went down at the party primary.
We were three that contested for the election. So I am fortunate to be winner. I emerged as winner. It was 30 votes, but at the end of the day, 30 people were accredited, but at the end of the day, 29 voted for me and there was one void. So it's as good as I have the whole 30 and my opponent had none. So I want to thank God and thank Almighty Allah, thank all my delegates, thank all my leaders, thank Right Honorable Speaker, thank the Governor of the state, Governor Ajay Shola Sonwolu, also thank our national leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
In Alimosho Constituency 2, Kehinde Joseph won his primary election, but it was with mixed feelings as he recounts his experience regarding the violence witnessed in the exercise.
After all, it was an election that I won very well, which was shown to everybody. It was well recorded, pictures were taken, and I was declared. Along the line, there were some issues with some boys. Some thugs came to disrupt the election because on that particular day, we're supposed to have two elections, the House of Assembly election and the House of Representative election. So after they have finished my own election, that they have counted it and the winner had already been declared. So they tried to stop the processes of electing the member of the House of Representatives. Along the line, those thugs came with machetes, cutlasses, cudgels, name it, including guns. So like 2 people died and lots of people were wounded. Even some of our delegates were also wounded. So it makes me sad that how could you, politics is not a do or die game.
For the lawmaker representing Ajiromi Felodun constituency, the exercise had one of the 4 aspirants who stepped down just before the primary started. With 8 months to the general elections in Nigeria, some members of the House have expressed optimism about the All Progressives Congress win at the forthcoming poll. They also talked about the exercise that saw the emergence of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the party's flag bearer in the coming election.
I'm very, very, very happy that Asiwaju won that election on that day. There is no better candidate than him. I thank God for that, for giving us. And I also want to thank the Mr. President too, because at least he promised that he's not going to interfere.
Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has shown to everybody that cares to listen that he has the capability, the capacity, the intelligence to govern this country. He has detribalized Lagos. He was the first person, he was the first governor, as far as I know, that came into a state and made sure that he picked the best, not based on tribe, not based on religion, not based on who you are, but based on what you can offer.
I was there and I witnessed the election. It was one of the most freest and fairest elections in the history of our party, even in the history of Nigeria as a whole, because it was shown live. People were there, and I was there myself personally to witness it. Even though, while our national leader was coming into the venue of the bar, you could see the crowd, you could see the happiness in people, you could see the enthusiasm, you could see the acceptability. You know, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the only candidate that was able to go around the whole 36 states.
And more than 400 people have benefited from a free Medicare plan organized by a lawmaker for indigents in Etiosa constituency. The initiative also captured a free eye care for over 2,000 people in the area. Poverty and financial constraints have been identified as the major barriers to accessing proper eye care services by Nigerians. Fear of complications after treatment or lack of awareness of eye diseases in some cases are other challenges many contend with. Statistics by the World Health Organization (WHO) show that glaucoma is increasingly becoming a major cause of blindness as the global population ages. This is followed by cataract. To bring down the number of cases, several interventions are being initiated by government officials and individuals. This is the GOI Free Eye Care Program in Lagos, the 8th in this series. It is an intervention for Etiosa community initiated by a lawmaker in the State House of Assembly for indigent people in the area. Gerard Chappelle is an ophthalmologist. His conversation with some of the people here revealed that not many of them pay enough attention to care of their eyes.
First of all, I would like to appreciate the organizer of this program. It's a very timely intervention over the years, because if eye health is something that should not be, the eye care is very important because of the way our economy is low. Access to health facilities. Things like this actually help us to detect things that actually cause blindness to the eyes. One of them, which is glaucoma, which we've seen cases of that already. glaucoma, also cataract, case of cataract, and also poor vision as well. So we've seen children that actually need this care, and we're able to give them that care that they need. And also we saw things of refractive errors, and also infection diseases, and also things that can actually lead to blindness, which I've mentioned earlier, like glaucoma. So this program can never be, it's very, very, very important, very, very important. I'll say that they have not been paying a lot of attention to their health, because there's a case there you see that you wonder why these people have not been to the hospital for a very long time. They just maintain their eye. I saw someone that is almost, if not for coming here, probably in a couple of years we have been blind from glaucoma. Just come to this program, that's where we're able to detect, and that's what counsel the person on the need for regular checkup as well too, and also the need of using medication on a regular basis as well too. So the use of so this program is very, how do I put it now? So it's something that we as more people should go into this kind of interventions to actually help the community people, because one of the reasons why people perform poorly in their place of work and also in their studies is because of their sight. If one can't see clearly, it find it difficult for the person to actually cope with what he or she is doing. So the eye check is very important, and since it's free, we also have a lot of people coming in to check since it's free, which they can be able to benefit from. We have drugs that we dispense, we have glasses that we give out as well too. We also have those that require further examination, also can do that for them too. They also have cases of cataract. I'll say that we've seen more cases of cataract, although some are not yet advanced for surgeries, but we've seen cases of cataract that definitely in a couple of years we have to do surgery for those people. But the 10 cases that we're about to see, we've already reached about 50% of the targeted cases of cataract surgeries. I wish more people would be like Honorable. If more people like Honorable, as in, our country would be a much better place to stay, especially when it comes to humanity. He's actually one that's actually in touch with the grassroots, both the lower class and also the upper class as well. So when it comes to interventions like this should be about the 8th time he's doing this kind of initiative. And I've been part of this initiative. I've seen cases of people that it has actually helped relieve them from their struggle. Kids that cannot perform properly in school now, they are doing better, much better. People that can't see now, they can see now. As in, people that would have been blind before now, they can actually have, there's hope for them. So if more Nigerians, more people can actually be involved in things like this, it will be much more helpful for the nation at large. Okay, I believe they should more or less more proper eye care hygiene for their eyes, eating good fruits, but which in our country we find that but just proper care of their eyes. And for beneficiaries of this care, I think they should pay more attention to the advice that we've given them pertaining to the usage of their drugs, and also the eye care tips that we've given to them. They should just abide to those things, and probably we might see next year as well too, and carry further tests to see the level of their eye health.
Another aspect of the program is vital signs monitoring. One of the doctors, Nafisat Yunus, is on hand to check respiratory rate, oxygen saturation, pulse, blood pressure and temperature of the beneficiaries here.
I'm taking their vital signs, and I noticed that quite a number of them they don't have an idea that they have high blood pressure. So I will not just say they are hypertensive, because this is just my first encounter with them. So I've been advising them to go back to the hospital for proper medical checkup. They should check their blood pressure, and also lifestyle modification should be also inculcated in their lifestyle. Majority of them are stressed, they're not sleeping well, they're not eating well, though majority of them complain that the situation of the country is not friendly. So I've tried to encourage them that life will still go on, so they should try and eat well, sleep well, add vegetables to their meals, drink lots of water, take fruits, and exercise. Exercise is very important, so I made sure I emphasized on that. And also, they should try and cut down on their beef. Majority of them are above 40, so they should cut down on fatty foods, eat more of fish, chicken, and red meats should be avoided if possible. So basically, those are the little encounter, and they've been cooperative so far.
Yunus told me that so far, 400 people have been attended to, and out of this number, more than 100 are hypertensive. She confirms that most of them pay little or no attention to their health.
And when you ask them, basically they complain of financial constraints. Many people don't have money. Like I trained in University of Jos. You see 200 naira, some people don't have. So you can imagine then when they come back to the hospital, they come at the terminal stage, which we can only manage, like we only do palliative care for them. So financial constraints is the number one major cause of why some people are nonchalant. While some, they have the money, they just feel tired, they just feel reluctant going. So they wait till die minute, and which have encouraged them at least twice in a month. If you cannot go every time or once in a week, try twice in a month, check your blood pressure. And for those who are hypertensive, they should try and check their blood pressure every day. If they are able to afford the machine, they should get the machine and check themselves at home, the automatic machine, so they can always check by themselves, because that's the digital. Because hypertension is one of the leading cause of death in Nigeria, and I've noticed so many people don't even know what it can lead to. Hypertension can damage their eyesight. It can lead to glaucoma, irreversible damage to the eye, and can also lead to irreversible blindness. It can damage their brain, can lead to stroke, have paralysis of their body, can damage their kidneys. It can cause a lot of things. So I have tried to encourage them to try and check their BP regularly.
With most of them blaming it on poor finance. And that's it on Lagos Parliament this week. Thank you for watching. To send us feedback to Lagos Parliament at tvcnews.tv. I am Abimbola Agbibi. Goodbye.